All right, so in today's video, we're gonna go through the exact sales process I use to make over $20,000 a month in residual income by selling payment processing. So if you haven't heard about it, payment processing, it's very, very simple. All you're doing is you are going to businesses and you are providing them with payment processing solutions. So like terminals, POS systems, whatever they need to process credit and debit card transactions. Then once you provide that business with their device, then every single time they run a card through that machine, you're gonna be getting a percentage of it. So it took me about a year to build up my portfolio, and now I make about 20 grand a month completely passively. So a lot of people, when they first hear about this, they get this huge idea in their head about using Facebook ads, setting up funnels, and trying to automate the whole thing. And basically, I'm here to tell you that door-to-door is the absolute best way of doing this. And there are a couple reasons why I believe that. So the first is you don't have to spend months and months trying to learn how to run ads. This is where a lot of drop-off happens, especially for younger entrepreneurs. I talk to them all the time. They tried out tons of different business models like drop shipping or whatever it may be. And that's always the point at which they fall off. They couldn't quite figure out the ads and the marketing and stuff like that. The beauty of this is you don't need to do all of that. As long as you're able to walk and speak, you can do this. You don't have to sit behind a screen, figure out your Facebook pixel or any of that BS. You can just go out there, have a conversation and make money for it. Also, a downside of running those ads is that it takes a lot of capital for the ad spend, especially for an opportunity like this, where it's not necessarily like a big upfront bonus type of thing. It's much more of a recurring residual thing. So it would take you a good bit of time to build up that portfolio for it to equal your amount of ad spend anyway. So if you were to do that for this, you would have to be comfortable losing money for a couple months in order to get to that point. Also, prospects can't ghost you when you're going door to door. If you are trying to run ads and do all of that, sure, you might get some bites. Most of the time, they're just kind of looky-loos, not really interesting. They just kind of want to kick the tires, and you might have a great conversation with them, but when you try and follow up with them, they're probably not going to answer you. They can completely just ghost you. Whereas with door to door, they can't ghost you. All you have to do is just show up at their business, say, hey, I'm here to talk with him again. And they can't really escape you. So you can at least get the closure of yes or no in this type of environment. Also, prospects tend to respond better. Cold calling over the phone, yeah, you can do it. I've never had a whole lot of success with it. And again, kind of for the same reason here. They can just hang up on you and you'll never hear from them again. Also, with this type of sale, trust is extremely important. So not having that face-to-face connection with them can degrade trust quite a bit. Part of the payment processing applications, we have to go through KYC, so know your customer. We have to get some sensitive information like their bank account and routing numbers, their birthday, their social security. We have to get these things so that legally we're able to process money for them. And if you're not there face-to-face in person with them, they're going to be much less willing to give that information to some random guy that called them over the phone. Also, prospects tend to respond much better when they know that you're local. That is a huge, huge bonus and a huge way of selling is saying, hey, instead of you having to call that 1-800 number every time waiting on hold for a couple hours, you're going to be able to call me. I live 5 minutes down the road. If you ever need me, I can just pop in here and help you. Now take that with a grain of salt. I have over 80 accounts. I tell them all that same thing, and I only really work like 45 minutes a week. There's really not that much you have to do. Another huge benefit of going door to door and actually showing up in person is you can see their actual setup, how they're currently using their POS system, and that's how you can identify the pain points. And at the end of the day, like it or not, that is the essence of sales, is identifying those pain points, offering them solutions to those pain points. So if you're doing this purely over the phone from inbound leads or whatever, cold calling, you're going to have to sit there and ask them questions for 20 minutes to fully understand how they're currently operating. When if you just walk in, you're going to see everything that's going on there. If they're still handwriting tickets and walking that back to the kitchen, you can say, hey, it's 2025. You don't have to do that anymore. We can just get you a device and get you a receipt printer in the kitchen. And then each order, they can put that right in the device and it'll print right in the kitchen for the cooks. Or if you see they have 12 different online ordering iPads on their counter for like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats orders, that's another thing you can hit pretty hard on is, hey, we can run that all through this one device and you won't have to deal with all that. And also if they're still clocking in the old school way on an old punch-in device, believe it or not, people are still doing that. We can do all that directly in a POS system. It just needs to be set up well. So for those reasons, that's why I've just gone tunnel vision personally on door to door. And that's what has led to me making 20K a month in passive income. So now I really want to go through the exact process I use to map out those doors, where I'm going to go, what I'm going to say to them, what my follow-up process looks like, and how I overcome their objections. So here we have all of that laid out, which we're about to go through here. So step one, just deciding where you're going to go. Now that may sound simple, but what I really mean is that don't just randomly bounce around to a bunch of different places. That just never ends well and also really messes up your pipeline. For instance, if I went to Belmead today And then tomorrow decided, okay, I'm just going to go out to Hendersonville and talk to people there. Then on the third day, what if I have a follow-up in Belmead and in Hendersonville? My pipeline's screwed. I just wasted hours going back and forth those places to go hit those follow-ups. Really, what you should do is say, okay, I'm going to go here as my first place. Then I'm going to go over to Gallatin as my next place. And then Mount Juliet is my next, then Laverne, then Smyrna. So if you schedule it out like that for prospecting, then the way it works is you go to Hendersonville, you do all of your prospecting here, and then you move on to Gallatin and you do some prospecting here. Then the next day, you probably have a follow-up to hit in Hendersonville. And then you can hit that follow-up on your way out to Gallatin. You can continue doing prospecting there and then move over here, do some more prospecting here. On the next day, you might have a follow-up here, and then more prospecting to do here. And then it just keeps going that way. So that way you're actually passing the places that you've gone to already on your way out to the next one. Time efficiency is like one of the most important things in sales. So if your time is 50% as efficient as the next person, you're going to have 50% of the results and make half the money. So nobody wants that. So what I did, I just bought a big map of Tennessee and I just drew arrows town to town. I knew the next 20 places I was going to go at any given moment. So once you've gotten all of that mapped out, then you need to go into Google Maps and get a little bit more detailed and actually map out your prospects. So step one, right, we're mapping out the towns. Now we are mapping out the individual businesses we want to go to. So on Google Maps, there are a couple things that you're going to want to do. So if we know Hendersonville, for instance, is the first place we're going to go to, we're going to zoom in on that. And then the very first thing we're going to do is just select restaurants. And then we can go in there and click on them. This seems like a good place. We're going to hit save. And then you can create a list using Google Maps. We're just going to call this one Hendersonville. And then after that, you're just going to keep doing that to the places that look like good prospects. Sometimes it doesn't immediately save. You got to exit, refresh, and then it will be there again. So Chili's, not a good prospect, of course. We're looking for more locally owned places. This looks awesome. So go there, hit Hendersonville. Sapporo, looks good to me. Hendersonville. And so now what we're doing is we're really building out a list for Hendersonville. So once we've gotten a couple places in there, and hit X, you can see that we have these all marked out. So once you actually show up there, what you can do is every person that you go in and speak with, you can mark them off. You can just click unsave on them. And then that way, you don't need to go there again. And if you have a follow-up with them, put them in there in your notes, which we're going to go through as well. And basically on those, what you're really looking for is more privately owned, locally owned businesses. You're not going to be able to pitch Walmart and Target. You want it to have the look and feel of like a hole in the wall. Those are always going to be the best places. The more kind of mom and pops it looks, honestly, the better. Believe it or not, that is actually where all of the money is made in payment processing. So once you have that list built out, it's then time to go pull some doors. And this is where it gets to be a lot of fun. So there are a couple different things. Obviously, you'll need to know to pitch this. Obviously, you want to know how to pitch cash discount or dual pricing. That's where the business passes on the fee to the customer. If the customer pays with card, saves them a lot of money. And also we make a lot more money on doing that too. Now, my pitch, it's going to depend on which device I'm selling. If I'm going straight to restaurants or bars, then I'm probably going to pitch SkyTab. SkyTab has a sick bonus right now. They're paying business owners $5,000 to switch to it. So that's a pretty easy sale. And the beauty is too, with our agreement, we can get up to a $2,500 bonus with every deal we close with SkyTab, in addition to the residual that we're getting long-term anyways. So if I'm pitching this, I'm going in there and saying, hey, I work with SkyTab. We're paying business owners $5,000 to switch. Would you be the right person to talk to about that? And if it's a manager or something, they're going to say, no, that wouldn't be me. And they'll direct you towards the owner. And then you say, hey, I work with SkyTab. We're paying business owners $5,000 to switch to our system. We can also eliminate all of your fees with dual pricing. And I happen to notice about X, Y, and Z pain point you have going on right now. We could solve for all of that using the system by doing X, Y, and Z thing. How much are you processing a month? Okay, great. Then your estimated savings by switching over would be X. That's in addition to the $5,000 that we'd be giving you. That's kind of how I go about it with SkyTab. Now with Clover, not too different, honestly. Mainly just, hey, I work with Clover. We're giving these away for free, which is something we do. This device is like $2,000. So if you want to do that and not have to pay for it out of pocket, we'll cover that cost for you. Just check out the link in the description. But then the main selling points around Clover outside of that would be no contract. We can eliminate your fees with dual pricing. We can also get you on Tuzo merchant rewards, where you're going to build up reward points for the amount of money you process every month. And the big thing would be local support, right? Anytime you need help, we're right there. You don't have to call a 1-800 number and wait on hold for a while. And for just a more general overview with the pitch, right, you want to do a couple things. You want to introduce yourself, always lead with the best part of your offer. So whether that's free systems or a $5,000 bonus, you want to lead with that. Also want to make sure you're getting in front of the decision maker. You don't want to pitch the manager. They're not going to help you at all. Mention their pain points, bring that up so you bring it to their attention. You want to get their processing volume, estimate their savings. Then ultimately you really want to get the statement so you can show them exactly what their savings would be by switching. Then at that point, make a proposal, overcome their objections, and close them. And here I just have a quick list of, the typical objections that you get. So you want to rehearse those, get your canned responses ready. So once you're pulling these doors, having these conversations, they're only one of three ways these conversations go. Either one, you close them, which is awesome. You fill out the MPA, merchant processing application. They start using their device and you start making money passively. Option two, it's closed lost, meaning they say, get the hell out of our store, whatever they say. And maybe you don't go back, or if you want to be a man, you do go back anyways and just keep hounding them. And then option three is follow-up. So this is where it's super important to stay organized. I use Notion for this. I just made like a custom follow-up scheduler with it. And we actually get everyone in our program set up with it so that they can stay super organized. But basically, if you don't have something like this, you're going to be falling apart week 2. Once you've had about 100, 150 conversations and you don't remember who to go to, who to follow up with, blah, blah, blah. You need to have all of that figured out. So like what we built is it's basically a scheduler, but you can also put in all of your notes, your comments on them. So that way in the morning when you wake up, you can just look at your scheduler and be like, okay, I need to go to this, and this place. Here's the most time efficient way of doing it. Here's the conversations I had with them. Here are what their pain points are. Here's what I'm pitching them. Here's the proposal I gave them. So you can have all that in one place and it makes it just way simpler. Then ultimately the whole point of follow-ups is that you bring them back here and close them. So keep doing that until you can get that done. And at the end of the day, you don't have to be a great salesman to do this. Just be able to speak to people and don't give up. It's really just a numbers game. So just keep going, keep working hard, keep pushing, and you're gonna get deals. I say it all the time. If you go to enough places every week, you're gonna accidentally run into somebody who actually needs it. But granted, if you actually develop your ability to sell, that's when you can start doing some real numbers. I know people that are doing 20 to 30 deals a month. In fact, I know people that are making $30,000 a month just from the SkyTab bonus. So there are huge numbers you can make here, but it will take some time and it will take some development. And lastly, just to kind of look through the numbers here, of kind of what it takes to get to where I'm at. On average, you can make about 1.5% to 2% profit off their processing volume. So if they're processing 100K a month, you can make anywhere from 1,500 to 2K a month off that account. Now, on average, I have 80 accounts. I make about 23-ish grand a month from. So you're looking at about like $300 a month per account, but I have multiple accounts that I'm making over thousands of dollars a month on. So with that said, even if you are very slow at learning, you're not great at this, you don't have that much time. If you're doing only 3 average size deals a month, then after 12 months, you're going to be making over 10 grand a month completely passively. You just have to stay consistent. That's it. But if you're even able to ramp to just 6 deals a month and continue that for 12 months in a row, you're going to be making over 20 grand a month like I am at this point. So again, it's really nothing that fancy, nothing crazy, anything like that. It just takes some time to build and you want to be in contact with people who have done it. So if you are interested in this and getting that one-on-one support with somebody who's done it, we do have a program for this. We give you full access to our over 100 lessons of training. You get one-on-one access to me. I'll even close your deals for you if you just get me on the phone with the business owner. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll front all of your equipment costs. So if you want to give away free Clover POS systems, we'll front that for you. We'll get paid back on the residual. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description.